Please welcome Wanda Prochazka.
I just like to say every time that music gets on, I get a heart attack. So I'm trying to like calm down right now before like the ghost stories aren't enough giving me a heart attack. The music goes on.
Let's breathe. Okay, let's breathe. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Okay, there we go. Anyway, so it's about 10 years ago, and it's a month after my grandmother passed away in Slovakia. And my mother's come back from the funeral. I unfortunately didn't get to the funeral. I was pretty sad about that. But we've been reminiscing a lot about my time in Slovakia and my summers there and sort of fond memories, but also it's been very sad to think about it and that I wasn't able to be there. And now I'm lying in bed and alone. I live alone. But I live in a large house where my mother's up on the top floor. I'm on the main floor, and then we have 2 tenants. But it's all separate entrances. So I'm alone in bed, late at night. I'm sleeping, I'm falling asleep. And then I'm woken by this pressure just pushing on my chest. And it's crushing me, and I can't breathe. And it feels like someone's sitting on me. And I just think it's Baba Yaga. It's this old Slovak, Eastern European wives' tale of this old, hideous woman, Baba Yaga, that sits and crushes you, soul-sucking, and she's just pressing on my chest, and I can't breathe. I'm struggling to breathe, but in the background, I can hear this voice. And I'm struggling, and the more I struggle, the less I can breathe, and the smaller the voice gets. Finally, I think to myself, if this is how I die, so be it. I need to hear what's being said. And at that moment, the pressure releases and I can hear the voice clearly. On umre. On je studenie, on umre, babushka, on umre. And it's my grandmother. And she's saying, babushka, that's her nickname for my mother. And she's saying, the body's cold. He's going to die. Do something. The body's cold. I wake up. I'm sitting up now, sweat, shivering. At the same time, I'm thinking, what body? Whose body? Is it my mother? I try to crane my head and try to listen upstairs if there's anything. I don't hear anything, which could be good or bad for my mother's apartment. And I finally sort of calm myself down and I said, it's just a dream. It's fine. There's nothing. Just go back to sleep. And as I roll over, I notice it says 4 a.m. I'm like, I'm not going upstairs. I roll over, I go back to sleep. In the morning, I get up. It's about 10 a.m. I get dressed. I walk upstairs to my mother's apartment, and I tell her, can you call home? Can you call Slovakia? It's not like she doesn't do this almost every Saturday, but it's weird for me to ask her to call. So she gives me kind of this weird look. And I said, just call. She goes, what is it? So I explained the story. She's dialing. She calls my uncle. Because I have this feeling if it's not her, 'cause she was fine when I came upstairs, obviously, I think it's her brother. So she calls, and his girlfriend answers. And she says, no, Yosho's not here, my uncle. He's in the hospital. I found his body 6 hours ago, and he was cold. But he's okay. He had a seizure, he bumped his head, and he's fine. So he's fine. We have a sigh of relief. We're like, okay, that's fine. 2-3 months later, I'm lying in bed, alone, falling asleep. I feel pressure crushing me, that damn Baba Yaga again. I hear a voice in the background. I know the drill now. I let go. Pressure releases. The voice says, "Je havaria." There was a car accident. My grandmother again. I roll over, go back to sleep, get up in the morning, go upstairs, tell my mother to call home. She gives me this quizzical look, calls my uncle, because I have this feeling it's my cousin, my uncle's son. He goes, no, he didn't have a car accident, the other cousin did. Okay. 2-3 months later, I'm lying in bed, alone, asleep. I feel pressure on my chest, crushing me, I can't breathe. There's a voice in the background. I succumb to it, the pressure releases, and it says, Umrel. Short and sweet. My grandmother just said, he's dead. I shudder. I get this feeling it's my Krsniapo, godfather. But I calm myself down, get back to sleep. In the morning, I get up, I go upstairs, tell my mother to call home. She gives me that look. She starts dialing as I tell her the story. She calls my other uncle, Stefo, because I think it's his father. He's like, no, he's fine, but the guy across the street passed away last night. Now it's just getting weird. Right? 2-3 months later, now it's about a year since my grandmother passed. I'm lying in bed. It's dark. I'm asleep. The pressure comes. Start to hear a voice. I succumb. The pressure lifts. I breathe, and I hear, Zase Havaria, my grandmother. Another car accident. But before she can finish, another voice comes in. He goes, Ale, nie boj sa, aj tak budem tancovať na tvoju svadbu. And it's my uncle, Stefo. And he goes, but don't worry, I'm still going to dance at your wedding. So I kind of laugh, and I'm like, okay. And I roll back to sleep. I get up in the morning. I call my mother. I go upstairs. I'm like, Ma, can you call home? She's like, I can't. What the? She goes, okay, what now? And I tell her the story, and she laughs, and she calls my uncle, Stefo. And he said, yeah, I didn't want to tell you guys. I had a car accident 3 weeks ago. I just got out of surgery a couple days ago. I have a metal plate in my head, but don't worry, I'm going to dance at your wedding. I haven't heard from my grandmother since.